No, the Bible doesn't say that loving God sends children and adults really to burn forever. But what does it say? I've got you, verse by verse. Hi, I'm Jeremy. I'm a deep skeptic, also a pastor. The case for eternal conscious punishment, like sending everyone to hell forever who doesn't say a magic prayer, is a hard one to make from the Bible. And it starts with the Old Testament, because the Old Testament has absolutely nothing like that in it. It has some place called Sheol, where everybody goes. The good and the bad, the people who love God, the people who don't, everybody goes to Sheol. It is the realm of the dead. And that's really the Old Testament idea of the afterlife. There's no burning. There's basically a neutral to a negative existence in the afterlife, and people live there for forever. Now, the idea that God is loving, that is something that you can make, a case that you can make, especially in the New Testament. In 1 John chapter 4, it actually says God is love, and whenever we experience love, we give or receive love, we are experiencing God. One of the first verses that people want to bring out from the Bible to say that it argues for this is Matthew 25:46, and it says something like, and then these people, these unrighteous people, will go away to eternal punishment. This is a funny verse to bring out, because a lot of times the people who are bringing this verse out are sort of fundamentalist evangelicals who are really supporting current governmental policies, especially in the United States, that are anti-immigration, that take rights away from women. And if you look into that passage, the bigger passage is talking about social justice. It's about helping out the needy and helping out people who are in prison and all of that kind of stuff. And the people who are getting punished, it's the people who are doing things that are not just and are furthering unjust systems. And also, the word there for punishment is not retribution. It's not revenge. It's like corrective, like a father or a mother does for their children. The next one's going to be in Mark chapter 9, where Jesus says something like you should cut your hand off if it's causing you to sin, because it's better to go through life maimed than to actually be thrown into the fires of hell. That's an unfortunate one to try to take literally for multiple reasons. The main one is just that Jesus is using something called hyperbole. And if you're not familiar with that, it's like when you open your refrigerator, you realize you have one Coke Zero and you feel like you would rather die, or, oh my gosh, I'm gonna die if I don't get more Coke Zero. Yeah, that's what that is, and that's what Jesus is doing. And when it says hell there, it's actually a term called Gehenna. It's a real place. It's the Hinnom Valley. It's a metaphor. Then there's Luke chapter 16, where it's a long parable of a rich man and a poor person named Lazarus, and they go to Hades, and there's this whole interaction. But here's what's interesting. Hades, if you remember from Greek mythology, is a place where everybody goes. And guess what? Everybody's there. The rich man, Lazarus, and Abraham. So it's not hell. It's not burning forever. And the next one is 2 Thessalonians 1:9. They're going to say that, the verse says something like, and then they will go to eternal punishment away from the Lord. This one is interesting because Paul, again, here is talking about the same kind of thing, the injustice, the people who perpetrate injustice, who persecute Christians. Those people are going to be punished for forever. But it's in no way the people who didn't say a prayer and ask God to let them into heaven. And the word there that is destruction is actually like ruin or loss, not punishment and revenge and retribution. It's nothing like that. And then there's Revelation chapter 20, where it says that they will be punished day and night, anyone whose name is not found in the Lamb's book of life. If you are sort of hanging a doctrine on this one verse in Revelation, or any verse in Revelation, that's problematic, because Revelation is highly, highly symbolic. If you've ever read it, I mean, there's a dragon in Revelation. So you can't go to it with this idea that I'm gonna find specific information there. And Revelation is not talking about the future Revelation is talking about the present reality of the people to whom it was written in the first century. So what's wild here is this idea that children are sent too. Because what the sort of fundamentalists, the evangelicals say is that there is an age of accountability, somewhere between 6 and 12 years old usually. And below that, people get a pass. They're going to go to heaven automatically. But above that, 7-year-olds are going to go to hell forever because they inherited sin from their parents. None of that seems right. None of that seems just. And that's fine, because when we're talking about what the Bible is and says, it doesn't say that those children are going to burn forever, or really that adults are going to burn forever. So where did it come from? Well, it developed over hundreds of years, and it was part of how the church was structuring power during that time, and tracing the entire history of the doctrine of hell is something that is a whole other video, really a whole course. But what's important to say is it's not in the text itself, it's being read into the text. And so people that want to say it's all about the Bible, which is what fundamentalists and evangelicals will say, you can't find it there. And when you're trying to develop your own beliefs, especially when you're trying to base them off of a sacred text like the Bible, it's important to know what's actually in there and what isn't. So, I hope this helps.